Kia ora, gentlemen. I'm just going to quickly run through what task 2 involves. Just quickly referring back to task 1, all of you should have completed the draft by now and sent it to the teacher in whatever way that they requested. Again, we'll be quickly going through and just giving you some very basic feedback and just make sure you act on that feedback. The due date for this, the final due date, is obviously depending on when we get through the content for this one, which is the psychological factors, which we haven't covered yet. But make sure you keep these two factors that you have completed, the draft for those, act on the feedback, and make sure you keep that information there safe, because once we teach this part of the unit, you will add to it. And I'd hate for you to have lost it somewhere. So, moving to task 2. You'll see that this is to complete a skill analysis using biomechanical and anatomical knowledge. You were taught this material in term 1, and the final will be due on Monday coming up, the 30th, at 11:59 p.m. And the expectation is around 1 to 2 pages. So 1.5 pages would be the sweet spot in the middle. So for this unit, what you need to do, I'll just quickly run through it, and then I'll break it down bit by bit. You're to select one of the skills from the following list. The skill is, you could choose a layup, a jump shot, again that could be mid-court, 3-point, free throw, dribbling, and an overhead pass. What you need to do is select one of them, then answer these 3 questions. First of all, you need to break the skill down and talk about the key technical factors. Okay? And how we break a skill down would be into, say, the preparation phase and the execution phase. So if you're talking about the jump shot, this would be the 3 phases that you could possibly do. Preparation phase, getting ready for the jump shot. Execution phase, the jumping up, and the release of the ball. And finally, the follow through afterwards. So for example, if I was talking about the first part, which was what are the key technical factors that you are needed to do to perform the skill successfully, and I was focusing on, say, the preparation phase, and here, again, this will be written in a paragraph format. You would talk about, say, the toes pointed towards the target. You'd like to use anatomical terms as well, so plantar flexion, the favored foot slightly in front on the non-favored in this position here. You talk about maybe shoulder width apart, knees flexed, again an anatomical term. Talk about any abduction, which would occur around, if we're talking about any standing shoulder width apart. Elbows under the ball, where would your hands be on the ball? And this is just all in the preparation phase. So just think about what the key technical terms would be, and for instance, how would you explain this movement to someone who's never done it before? What are the key coaching points and the technical points to do it successfully and well? Then what you need to do is explain how 2 biomechanical principles are linked to performing your skill. And again, it's one of those skills that you've chosen, and you also need to explain why these 2 biomechanical principles are important when executing this skill. So if you refer back to what we did in term 1, the biomechanical factors that you could choose from was stability and balance, and there's about 4 key factors underpinning how we are stable and balanced. Force summation, again, 4 factors associated with that, and then Newton's laws, which there are 3 of. With that, again, to give you some key pointers, is that you need to choose 2 of those 3. Define the term and link it to the movement or skill, and explain the importance. You use anatomical knowledge where you can. You can use diagrams to support your work and explanation. And you have to, again, as I've mentioned, how does this biomechanical factor benefit this skill when it's done well? So these 2 last points can be merged together and answered in the same paragraph or same section. So if I was to look at this movement in front of me, which again is the jump shot, you would need to apply, for instance, say, force summation if you choose to do that, and how it's applied to this skill, why it is important when executing this skill, and how it is linked to the skill. So I think around the force summation, there are 4 key principles involved in that. How would an athlete use those effectively and how does it benefit them in completing and executing this skill. As I indicated earlier, this information around biomechanics and anatomy is found in Term 1 material, and you will also be encouraged to do your own research to support your work. And I'm just showing an example here. It's one of my level 3 boys, and the reason why I've shown you this here is around referencing. So if you're using some research from another source, you need to reference where you got it from. So for example here, we've got quotation marks that directly use this information from a source, which has got a 1 next to it, and that'll refer back to their references at the end of their assignment. And then also we've got here, again, another piece of information, and I've got that from this website here, where it relates to number 2. At the end of their assignment, here are their references. So that first reference that was in red, labeled number 1 at the end, this is where they got the information from. Number 2, that's where they got it from, this one here. And I've got a number of numbers here, and they all reference a website. As I stated to you in the last video, we have via GrammarNet a similarity check, which basically enables the teachers and the masters to check if the work that you have submitted is your own work. If it is being copied, then it will show up in a color and we'll have the website associated with it. If we can see that you've referenced that and you've put a quote next to it, then that's fine. Again, this is quite a large quotation that they've grabbed, which is directly from that website. They haven't changed it at all. We are encouraging you to, if you use a quote or define, then that's when you might use these quotations, and that's where you got it from. But if you've got an idea from a website and you've put it into your own words, which is what you need to, then you still need to reference that you've got the idea and information from that web page, and you need to put the number at the end of it. If you've just cut and pasted work from various different websites, that's going to show up on our similarity check as a certain percentage of the amount of work that you've copied, and will also come up in colors, just like as here, to say, look, this work has directly been taken from this website, and we can click down and check on that website. We've mentioned that to you. If that does occur, you risk getting 0 for your assignment. And also if you use information or copy someone else's work from previous years or from another class, that will pick it up as well. And you risk getting 0. And again, just to remind you, this is worth 20%. And unfortunately, in the past, we have had students who have done that and have received 0 for parts of their assignment or their entire assignment. So please don't risk that. Again, it's your own work, and we're giving you plenty of time to go through that. So last part, reminder that this is due in on Monday, the 30th, and there will be no draft. It will just be a straight final submission. Your teacher will dictate to you the method of submission for that, due work or via GrammarNet or sent in via email. Of course, ask your teacher any questions if you are confused or need some clarity around any particular points. Remember, this task or this assignment's out of 20% in its entirety. This is one section out of 4, so this is worth 5%. Lastly, in here, I've just quickly to show you the structure that you could base it on. I've got the title here. The first part, they've split the skill, which is the jump shot, into 2 parts, the preparation phase and the execution phase. As I described earlier, you could have 3 phases. You could have the follow-through phase as well. Again, these are the technical points they're describing here, the coaching points, using anatomical knowledge to support how you would do the movement successfully and well. And then they've gone into their biomechanical factors. Here. And again, this is describing linking, choosing 2 of them, linking it to performing your skill, and also why they are important for executing the skill. So they've chosen for their jump shot, one of the ones is for summation. Again, blanked out here, describing how much they've sort of written for that in the structure. In 1 paragraph, they've answered those 2 questions down the bottom, and follows through to this next page, same for summation. And the second one they chose was Newton's laws, 2nd and 3rd, and how it is linked and how it influences the jump shot. You could also choose the other option, which is stability and balance to do as well. I thank you guys, all the best.